Nick's an awesome guy. He's really making an effort to get back on his feet and off the streets, and we're trying to raise enough money for Nick to get off the streets. What we're trying to raise is 3 months worth of rent plus security deposit plus any other kind of security deposits for utilities, and we figure that number's right at $3,200. So guys, we really need your help raising this money. Anything that we make over that, we're going to pass it to the next person that needs a hand up. Anyways, guys, we love you, and be a part of this. Be a part of this. It's going to be amazing. We're going to follow Nick as he transitions off the streets, and we'll post updates on this GoFundMe page. And you guys are going to watch Nick go into an apartment. We're going to help furnish it. We're going to load the fridge up with some food because we know you like food.
It's warm right now. Just turn the heater on.
I know, right? It'll be nice and warm and toasty.
Amen.
It's going to be awesome.
Visualizing it.
I know, right? It's going to be so cool.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, brother. We love you.
Thank you.
That's the most important thing to remember, all right?
I have been, searching for myself, searching for my meaning, searching for my... I shouldn't say searching, I should say reestablishing. I know who I am. I know what I want to do. I've had a lot of things in my life that I've been very proud of. A lot of the things that I've accomplished, a lot of things that I've overcome, a lot of things that I've survived. I've been very proud of those things. This is not a proud moment in my life. I guess to a certain extent I'm proud that I'm still alive and not in jail or whacked out on drugs or anything like that, because it'd be very easy for someone to fall into that trap. That's safe, and it provides this fake comfort. But I know that that's not the way to go. I've always had my faith. I've been a man of faith for a long time, and particularly in the last 15, 20 years, I've really relied on my faith. I often say, just the faith the size of a mustard seed and I can move mountains. So, I've had to move some big mountains, and I'm a little tired. I've always been this crazy optimist. I could find the silver lining in any brown cloud. And now I'm having a little bit more trouble finding that silver lining. It took me a long time to find a job. I was self-employed for 25 years, 30 years in the Bay Area. And moving to the desert in 2014, I took care of my mom for 1 year, who was ill, and she passed in 2015, about a year later. It was right after her passing that I moved out of our place in Rancho Mirage and found myself somewhat homeless for the first time. When I found a place to live, stayed there, and then that house caught on fire this past summer. And so I was forced to move from there, and I lost most of my possessions in that fire. So I got a job where I'm working now in April, and it's a decent job. I make just a little bit above minimum wage. It's not some high-paying job. I often laugh when I think back of like, oh yeah, I used to get paid X amount of dollars to tell people what color to paint their house. And now, and I'd be like, back then I'd be like, oh no, I could never do that, blah, blah. And now I'm like, how much does it pay? Does it have benefits, Yeah, I work for basically minimum wage. And that's awesome. I don't take that for granted at all. I'm blessed to have that job. I tell my boss, I show up every day for work, ready to give 110%. Clean, fresh, clean clothes, with a good attitude, not bitter or angry or tired. I show up ready to work because this is corporate. This is a corporate job owned by a corporation. They have no room for touchy-feely, no room for personal trauma and drama. It's like, I am employee number 5551212, and that's about as personal as they want to get with me. One of the most horrible feelings that I've experienced in the last 4 months is being hungry. That is just something that I don't ever get comfortable feeling. It's weird. I have like a 30-inch waist. I never had a 30-inch waist. It's just weird. So I have this great job. I like it there. I just need a place to stay. I need a place to stay. I'm concerned. I've been HIV positive for 33 years, since I was 19 years old. I think that's the math, right? 33, 34 years. I've been at death's door, literally, not like hyperbole, literally at death's door 3 times. I've always said that this would not bring me down, but it's wearing me down. There's a difference between bringing me down and just wearing me down, because wearing me down, I'm just going to give up. I'm going to get caught up. I'm going to get blindsided by something. I'm on my own. There's a Tupac Shakur song that there's a line in it that says, "It's hard to find meaning in your life when you're not sure anybody loves you." Something like that. And there were times this summer that I said, if I just turned around and walked out into the desert, it would be days before anybody asked where I was, even if they did. I don't want to do that. I don't have like thoughts, of hurting myself or anything like that, but it's more about what I find my desire to live. If I don't have a desire to live, then I'm just going to die. And that's different than like actively choosing to harm myself, which is not whatever. But I don't know if nobody gives me hugs anymore. I used to get hugs all the time. I don't get hugs anymore. That's kind of sad. That's gonna make me start crying. I'm getting tired. I'm 53 years old. I'm getting tired. This isn't fun anymore. It's the dismissive kind of like pity that I feel that I get from people that clock me for being homeless. I know that some of it is what I self-define myself as. I never would say that I was homeless. I'd always say that I'm either residentially challenged or without a permanent address. I only until last week was the first night that I actually fell asleep where I stay up in downtown. I would always just go there and just like sit. And I wouldn't sleep at night, because if I fell asleep at night at my spot, it meant that I was officially homeless. And that wasn't something I was willing to admit to myself, even though I knew that I was. So I would stay awake at night, walking around and just kind of drinking coffee or whatever. And then I'd fall asleep like at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd sleep for a few hours before I had to go to work. It's the pity, it's the inconvenience that I feel from people, that don't want you to let me use their bathroom, or when it's warm, to be able to get in from the outside. Even though I'm not disturbing anybody, I look good. I'm dressed well. I'm clean. I'm dressed cleanly. I'll like stash my suitcase somewhere so I don't have to have my big old suitcase there, but I'll have my knapsack or something like that. I don't really technically look like I'm homeless, but they know that I am, because it's, I'm walking around with it. It's humiliating. But I can't let that it's like, what a meerkat is? It's like the humiliation like pops its head up and like looks around and then it goes back down, because I cannot endure those feelings of humiliation and shame and depression and sadness and lack and all those emotions that are just going to sink me down a rabbit hole. For lack of a better, and just to be short and blunt, it's just going to take me some cash to get into the first and last month's rent. One of the things that I learned about working with homeless in San Francisco is especially when they were panhandling, is to make eye contact with them. Now, a lot of times people that are panhandling out there, you don't need to give them change. You just need to say hello to them and acknowledge their existence, validate their existence. And if you get to have a hot meal or something like that, or $1, you can that makes it good too. But that was what I learned to do: is that everybody needs to have dignity, and it's so undignified, and it's so. I'm tired of walking up and down the street or climbing onto the bus with my bags, and this and that, and then like everybody's like, oh, like it's not who I was. It's who I am now, but it's not. I did a play in high school, Twelfth Night by Shakespeare, and the character I played walks across the stage and he says, "Some people are born great, some people achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them." And I thought, which one am I? Which one am I? And my whole life I've asked myself, which one am I? Am I born great? Will I achieve greatness? Will I have greatness thrust upon me? And I guess it was about maybe 10 years ago I realized I just was all three. I was born great by the grace of God. I achieved greatness by the grace of God. And God will thrust me into situations where I will. But it's tough. I keep on thinking that I'm just getting more information for whatever I choose to do in my life. But it's not easy. And it's humiliating. And like I said, that will rob me of my will to keep on moving forward. I'll just get stuck in neutral. I get up from wherever I am every day and I show up to work on time, ready to give 110% with a smile on my face. That takes a lot of effort. Handy wipes and little baby wipes are the homeless person's best friend. Because sometimes if I can't find somewhere to take a shower, I will just swab myself down with baby wipes and I'm ready to go. Also, I spend my money on clothes because I don't really have anywhere to do laundry, and my clothing is stashed at 4 or 5 different people's houses in different spots around town because I don't want to carry it all around with me. Like today, I bought a T-shirt to wear for work. $2 for a T-shirt.
And you got that hat.
Oh, I got my hat. Yeah, I got my hat.
Check that out.
This was $8. And my scarf. You got my scarf?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because, like I said, next to being hungry, as bad or probably they're very horrible feelings as being cold. Being cold is not a good feeling. It makes me feel very vulnerable. I remember waking up about a week ago and being just shaking and walking as fast as I could to the casino. Because that's really where there's only place to be warm at night now. It's open to the public. That's not going to chase you out if you keep moving around. I have no money, so I just kind of see people and I just kind of chat with them, and I just sit around and bounce around. But I remember walking there, and it was so cold that my mouth was chattering, and my legs were a little numb, and I was just saying to myself, this cannot go on. I cannot sustain this. And it made me scared because I don't know where to turn. I've contacted the agencies in the valley that are supposed to be able to help me out. And they all say, call this person, call that person, call this person, call that person. So I call this person, I call that person, I call this person, and then it just loops back around. And I'm like, wait, what? But for me, I keep on hitting closed doors, and it's just frustrating. I cannot tell you how frustrating it is to get the runaround when you're trying to get back on the feet. And I feel like I'm slipping through the cracks. And I've told them, I'm treading water here. I need to have serious mental illness in order to get more help. And I think that that's bizarre. I need to be talking to myself or cutting myself or doing something in order to get some help. I don't want my rent paid for a year. I work. I just need a way to get into a place. Why can't I save up the money? Because I can't right now. I've got to pay. Being homeless is not without its costs. Especially if I want to go up and show up and keep my job. It costs more than if I had a laundromat or something like that at home, and I could sleep at night in a bed and not have to spend, half of my paycheck to have 2 nights safe in a hotel. Because I need to sleep. I need to get 8 hours of sleep uninterrupted. So I'll rent the cheapest hotel that I end up getting a rash from the sheets because they use such horrible detergent, but at least I've gotten 8 hours of sleep or 10 hours of sleep. What do you spend your money on? Feeling safe for 2 days a week or 1 day a week, or buying some food, or buying a friend some food, or buying a friend a pair of shoes because they've been running around with flip-flops on. It seems like there's such a contempt. When they look at me and they see me and they say, well, you have a job, why don't you? It's almost like contempt that they have for me. And it's like, you don't know my story. Listen to my story and then judge me. But don't judge me before you know who I am, or know what I've been through, or know what I've lost. One of the things that I've done in my life in the past, and I encourage other people to do, is when they're feeling low and they feel that their life is not going well for them, is to go out and spend time with people that have less than what they have, whose lives are going worse than theirs. Not to be able to say any feelings of superiority, but for a reality check. When you help somebody that has less than you, it doesn't make you feel good because you have more than them. It makes you feel good because what you have, you offer them. It could just be a hug, or a smile, or an ear. But it fills a part of your battery, your internal soul battery, your soul, that only few things can actually recharge that spot. There's very few things that can charge your soul and your compassion and your humanity and your joie de vivre and your verve than giving of yourself to another person without any attachments, without any conditions, without any expectations of return, except maybe a smile from them or a hug. But even not. You need to sit down with them. You need to listen to them. And they might smell bad. They might smell horrible, but that's too bad. They've learned to live with it. You can live with it for 10 minutes. You can live with it for a half an hour. You can live with it for an afternoon. You cannot assume what anybody's problems are. You cannot assume what anybody's needs are without talking to them and hearing their story. Some people do need mental health services. Some people don't. Some people just need a hand up. Somebody asked me when I started this new life a couple years ago, hey Nick, what's your mission in life? You're starting this new life, what's your mission in life? And I said, let me ride my bike a little bit and get an answer. And so I realized that my mission in life is to lift people up. How I'm going to do that, I'm still working it out. I don't want to tell too many people. I mean, this GoFundMe thing is awesome, but I'm not telling too many people around me because they will find out some way to sabotage it, because that's the way people are. People don't lift people up anymore. There's somebody that stole my teeth the first fucking week. So the first week, you can edit that out. The first week that I got my grills starting to get fixed, somebody stole them out of my bag. Why? They're not going to fit them. This is another thing that people judge me on. It's horrible. It's horrible. So I'm homeless and I have no teeth. Yay. Does anybody want to go out with me? It's really sad. But see, I can still laugh about it. because it's so ridiculous. I don't lose that part of me that can still find something amusing about this. I find it amusing how pathetic it looks. Even though I'm not pathetic, it looks pathetic. It's sad. I wish that things were different. I really do. I really do. I want things to be different. I can't wait to have my spot that's safe and warm and decorated the way that I want to decorate it and has the stuff that those few possessions that I have. I can't wait. I look every week, I look at Craigslist to see what new apartments that are out. Anything that's in my price range. Ooh, look. And then I don't have the money to get in. I can pay the rent. Not a problem. It's the money that I need to get in. That is a major stumbling block. So I spend another 2 weeks homeless. I sink further into the crack. And my fingers are like this right now. I feel like I'm sinking farther into the crack. And it's cold outside. I would suggest for them to go into service of others. Spend time with people that have less than they do. Spend time with people that are more depressed than they are. We can always find somebody like that. They might be full of despair, but there's somebody else that has more despair than they do. And rather than misery loves company, I think that all it takes is a glint of hope from somebody else or from them. And it reproduces itself in abundance, fast. Don't give up hope. Find the extraordinary in the ordinary. Find beauty in the ugliness of our lives. Find love in the obstruction and the unjustness of our existence. It's not easy, but the rewards, I think, and I hope, are great. It's very, very easy to cross over and go onto the dark side, if we can use a little bit of a Star Wars analogy, but there is a dark part of our existence where we lose hope, where somebody steals a tent that somebody sleeps in, or somebody steals a sleeping bag, or somebody steals something, somebody takes something of yours. Or I've had 3 bikes stolen this summer. 3 bikes. It's very easy to go onto the dark side and to be angry and to be hopeless and to be bitter. It takes energy to stay vibrant and alive and hopeful and cheerful and optimistic. But it doesn't take that much more than being dark. Darkness to me is the absence of light, which is the absence of energy. There is an energy to dark energy. There's a darkness. There's an energy to it. But it's the absence of light. Fundamentally. Not looking deeper, but fundamentally it's the absence of light. And so light is energy. So I don't know if I can share this tattoo that I have on my wrist. It's a yin and yang sign, but there's not a dark side to it. And I always say that I want the opposing forces in my life just to be mirror opposites of each other. No tension. There's no tension between good and bad, or right or wrong, or masculine and feminine, or anything like that. It's just, they coexist. And that's what I'm trying to do now. I shouldn't say try, that's what I am doing. I'm coexisting with this adversity that I have so that it doesn't get me down. And that's what I would share with other people, is to take everything in stride. Know that we're loved. even if we don't feel that every day in our lives, to know that we're loved by God and our ancestors that have gone before us and our guardian angels. Because we do have guardian angels, I know. There's a story behind that I'll share another time. But I was in a horrific car accident in December 2010. And all I heard from the moment that I got into the ambulance was, "It's a miracle you're alive. It's a miracle he's alive. It's a miracle he's alive. It's a miracle he's alive." And I was like, okay, you know. Then I got to the emergency room, and it was like a scene out of a television show. You know, everybody's yelling orders and this and that and TCCs of this and da-da-da and this. And it was all this commotion for me. And I was like, why? I'm here. And all I heard, the EMT saying to the doctor, "It's a miracle he's alive. It's a miracle he's alive." And the nurses saying to each other. And I was like, what is the big deal here? And then 3 hours later, when I was released from the emergency room and went and looked at my car, I realized why they were saying that. Because my car was a frightening ball wreckage of metal. And when I would tell that story at night for a few months afterwards, I would see this gold vortex of like fireflies spinning around. And I immediately knew who it was. I had a friend named Renee, and her mother was named Joni. And Joni and I sat one night, and she taught me how to make kefta and all these wonderful Lebanese foods, hummus, baba ganoush. And she gave me these books on Medjugorje, which is the place where the Virgin Mary makes an appearance in France. And we spoke a lot about the Virgin Mary, my mother being Catholic, and I am familiar. So I was able to connect with Joni about that. And that was Joni, that golden light was Joni saying to me, "I was the one that came down and saved you, Nicholas. I was the one that was there. I was the one that pulled the steering wheel to their left." And I felt so comforted by that. She was from New York. She loved me. And I know that my mom is there too, but my mom wasn't in heaven when I got into the accident. But it was Joni saying to me, "I was the one that saved you. I was the one that called everybody else down there to help you out." Because it was a miracle that I survived. And it's been a miracle that I've made it through other things too. But I'll close off with this. When I sang in the Blind Ensemble, we used to have to sing a song that said, "Somehow I made it. Somehow I made it. Somehow I made it. Somehow I made it. Somehow." God brought me through. And when I would sing that song, it was a very kind of rocking song. We were all clapping. It was, a gospel song. I would have Charlie Brown tears coming out of the side of my eyes because I felt so blessed and so caressed and so fortunate and so in service and so obligated to my brothers and sisters to share this beautiful feeling and this wonderment of somehow I made it. God brought me through. I would cry. It was a beautiful thing. Tears of joy, tears of happiness, tears of humility and gratefulness and gratitude. I really know. And I say that slowly because I need to believe it if I'm going to say it. I really know that God will bring me through this. I'm concerned about the timing. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, good brother.
Thanks.
Are you feeling worn out?
Yeah. I'm okay. I'll walk it off.
We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna get you off the streets, I promise.